It is exciting to be here with everybody in this month's edition of the Meet and Chat with the Professionals. My name is Faith Amodara, and I'll be your host for the October edition of the Meet and Chat with the Professionals. The Meet and Chat with the Professionals is a monthly program anchored by the Finance Business Partners. The Finance Business Partners is a community of accounting and finance professionals dedicated to changing the narrative of the profession. In this month's edition, we are discussing a very practical and important topic that is important for professionals. We are discussing navigating career through limited resources. To do this, we have invited not just the finance professionals.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I'll be standing in for Faith. I think she has technical issues. So I hope everyone can hear me on the call. Please, can you confirm if you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Good evening.
Yes, I hear
Thank
you.
you.
I can hear
All right,
you.
no problem. Thanks, everyone. Thanks. So in this month's Meet and Chat edition of the Meet and Chat with Professionals with the Finance Business Partner, we are organizing a very practical and important topic, which is very, very important for professionals. We'll be discussing navigating career through the limited resources. And to do this, we have invited not just the finance professional, but someone who has over the years learned to leverage your resources at his disposal to maximize his career at every given opportunity. Kudus, just like we know, is a living testament that waiting for the perfect moment with all the resources you have is just a luxury we can't afford. So our guest speaker today is Kudus Adebowale Balogun, popularly known as Iwelabi. Currently, Kudus is the head of finance at Order Africa, a cloud-based restaurant software built for African chefs and food business owners. Kudus currently leads the firm overall financial strategy, corporate financial reporting, financial planning, analysis, and statutory and regulatory audit. Kudus is also has about over 8 years experience in the profession with a great record of accomplishment and quality affiliation. Is a chartered accountant at the Institute of ICANN, an associate member and secretary to the membership committee to the Institute of Information and Management Africa. Before now, Kudus co-founded and served as the CFO to Fagnite, an agri-fintech startup company. And just, talking of leadership and volunteering, Kudus currently serves as the co-founder of Mentorship Cornell International, a community that focuses on empowering young accountants in the professional life, academic, finance, technology, and all spheres of their career. Professionally, Kudus have served in different capacities at different organizations. He has worked as an audit trainee, junior accountant, internal auditor, operational and financial analyst, and account officer. And most recently, he progressed from a financial manager and reporting to a senior finance manager before assuming the role of vice president of finance and admin as his previous to Ayoles in Education Nigeria. Above all, Kudus holds the belief that regardless of your past experience and achievements, the best in him is yet to be unleashed. So today, Kudus is ready to share with us all that is needed to be shared about making use of what you have to get what you need. So can you all give a round of applause for Kudus, which will be taking us through this session this evening? You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone.
I trust we are all doing great. Please, can we confirm that we can hear me? Okay, cool. Today's chat around navigating your career through limited resources. We are going to be looking at it from the lens of all you need in terms of inbuilt attributes, or let's say inherent attributes or skills to get what you don't need, right? Some of us know me on this call, and some of us are yet to come by Kudus Balogun, popularly known as Iwelabi. I'll be sharing with us some important insights into how to navigate our career when it is almost like we don't have what it takes, right? What do I mean we don't have what it takes? There are some instances that we have all find ourselves in this life where we want something, but we know that before we can get what we actually want, we need something to take us there. But we can't get what we actually need to get what we want. In those instances, what do you do? How do you navigate your ways around it? There are some of us on this call that will agree with me that if you are afforded the opportunity, you will have wanted to choose to go to the best school, Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, and what have you. But because of one reason or the other, most especially, as we all know, in this part of the world, maybe financial constraints. I believe on this call, we have a different background of people, quite aware of some people joining from other side of the countries in terms of our neighboring countries from Ghana, Sierra Leone, and the likes, right? So I would just like to be a lot practical. We will make the class a lot practical, and then we'll make it such that I didn't come with a slide. So it's not something that I'm just here to deliver a talk, but rather I want us to have chats. What do I mean chat? Present your case in the most difficult of manners, and let's see the options that you have to thrive, right? And also, I will be probably sharing with us my stories, my career journey from inception to date, and how I've been able to move different roles. I think a fun fact about me is that till today, since I started my career in 2016 till now, I've probably worked in not less than 15 organizations. And guess what? In most cases, I have worked in organizations without even knowing people while applying. In most cases, I've actually applied for jobs online rather than maybe via somebody submitting my CV or through referrals, right? But in recent time, of course, referrals are part of the key things for you to land your dream job, right? We'll look at things from the lens of what are the things you can easily achieve at your own disposal. Like at your own disposal, these are things that are available for you. And then we go through the lens of how do you utilize these things that is at your disposal to get the next thing that you're looking out to get. So, for example, I usually say these things when you are defining your career, right? When you are defining your career, and I would like people to actually follow me at this time. When you are defining your career, you should define your career in such a way that you ask yourself at every point in time, what you are asking yourself is very simple. What is my career aspiration? What exactly do I want? Right? When you ask yourself, what exactly do I want? This thing is not what exactly do I want to achieve in the next couple of months, but how do I want to feel? What results do I want to experience? Like, what result do I want to experience in the next couple of years to come, right? So the result that you want to experience, for example, let's say a number of us on this call, you agree with me that if you are asked, how well do you want to be rich? A number of us, we say we want to be filthy rich. A number of us will probably say financial freedom. I want to be free. I just want to be able to afford anything I want, right? And trust me, you wanting to be able to afford anything that you want is a career or is a life aspiration, right? In terms of your finances, it's a life aspiration that you can easily get to when you map out the questions around, okay, Now, I have said that I want to be able to afford anything that I want, right? Now ask yourself, how do you want to get the resources to be able to afford anything that you want? How do you access that resources or those resources that will help you to unlock the wealth to enable you get everything that you think you want or you desire, right? Then the question comes to, okay, I want to be able to afford traveling every week to the New York, to the California, Saudi Arabia, Ghana, this and that. I want to be flying around, right? You know, to fly around is quite expensive, right? And you know that it requires a lot of money. And now the next question would be, what do I do to get money to be able to do all of these things, right? And then you need to ask yourself, how do you get money? I've on my own, I've particularly said that to get money or to get resources that you need can come in various ways. Most especially when it comes to finances, because it's typical of us, the usual challenges we usually see when we are progressing in our career is usually money, financial constraint, financial challenge, this and that, and all of those things. So you need to always ask yourself, how do you get money? How do you plan to get money, right? There are several ways to get money. You can either offer a service, and then when you are saying you want to offer a service, look at your career. And I used to tell my guys out there that at every point in time, always see yourself as an employee with an entrepreneurial mindset. So always see yourself as though it is because of what the skills that you have in terms of your career. If you are an accountant, you are a lawyer, you are a doctor, whatever you are, right? It is the skills, that skills or those skills are not something that are easily come by, right? Those skills are what you are trading, right? Or you are exchanging in terms of value exchange at where you are currently working. And that's why they are giving you money. Now, I want you to think of an idea of a situation where you have these skills and you're looking at yourself that, okay, if I go to work 9 to 5, I have these skills and I'm rendering this service to my people. Can I also be able to leverage these skills elsewhere outside my 9 to 5 in order to still get something, right? So usually I say you can render a service via your skill set. And another thing that people usually overlook is that while you are working, while you are pursuing your career, you are actually developing some other skills that are relevant, some transferable skills that are relevant to your growth that you don't even take cognizance of. And I'll use my career as example. But before I keep on talking, I would like to make it conversational, right? I would like to make it conversational. And I'll go through the lens of storytelling, how storytelling can help our career, most especially during times where we have limited resources. How can storytelling help you? I've been opportune to interview a couple of people. I've been opportune to sit on interview panels. I've interviewed people as far and wide as people that have attended Oxford. I've been opportune to interview people as far as wide as people with 15 years of experience doing their job and all of those things. And guess what? I actually only have how many years of experience? I probably just have 8 years plus of experience in accounting and finance, right? And within my short career so far, right, I have been able to do something that even myself, I used to think, Kudus, how were you able to do all of these things? And the short answers is efficient storytelling. Efficient storytelling. In most cases, if you are on this call, I want you to note something. In most cases, if you are on this call, I want you to note something. The person that usually gets the job when we are interviewing, or that gets the scholarship when they are interviewing for the scholarship, or that gets those opportunities, are not necessarily those that are of the best brains, but those who are able to sell their stories in the most convincing manner. Take it or leave it. The way you sell your story tells everything about how much opportunities you can unlock. And I'll use my career as an example. But before we get there, Someone hands is up. I would like to hear from you. And then, yeah. Oladejo Ifeoluwa, do you want to say something? Okay, if you're not saying anything, you can lower the hand. So yeah, I know I can see that we're having enough people on the call because I want to show us some things. I will show some things. I want to play a record now. I would like everybody to listen to this voice recording very well because it's what we are going to build this discussion around. I'll share my story briefly and then we open the floor for question and answer. Like, create the most unbelievable, difficult times of scenario. And then we'll be able to figure it out that, oh, if you are facing this is actually some of the best ways you can go about it, right? For me, number one key thing, when you are having limited resources and you want to thrive in your career, number one key thing you must learn is effective communication. You need to be a very, very good communicator. Like, not just a very, very good communicator now. Now, you need to be a storyteller. What does that mean? What does storytelling even mean? Anybody with an idea? What does storytelling mean to you? Anybody? Yeah, I promise. Go ahead.
Okay, storytelling to me is using maybe real life example to explain a situation.
Cool. Real life example to explain a situation. Anybody else that wants to tell us what's your own opinion of storytelling? What does it mean to you when you hear storytelling? And then this is a skills that everybody on this call must actually acquire. Idris.
Okay, so storytelling to me is actually relating your ideas, thoughts, using the most practical manners, ranging from your experiences and conversations you've had with professionals or with colleagues or like minds.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you very much, Idris, for that. So, guys, this is it. As much as possible, right? Everybody on this call must learn how to tell their own stories. And I will tell you why. And then I will draw back to my career, and then I'm telling you as much as possible to manage the time. I'll tell you why storytelling is important. We'll leverage the story around my career, and then also we'll do some sort of question and answer. But before then, I want to play something to us, and I want us to listen carefully. What do I want to play to us is why storytelling is important. Why storytelling is important. And what do I mean why storytelling is important? Why storytelling is important to unlocking opportunities when you have limited resources. To unlocking opportunities when you have limited resources. I will play something to us now where this is a young friend of mine, a very, very cool friend of mine, and is having an interview, right? He's having an interview, a very, very competitive interview, right? And he was asked something around why should they consider him for the opportunity? Why should they consider him for the opportunity? And this is the same thing. Like we've had instances of or situations where people are probably interviewing for a role and they ask you, why should we hire you? In fact, let's throw it open. Let's get one or two ideas of why should we hire you, or why should we give you this opportunity? The reason why you are seeking opportunity in the first place, most especially when they are free, is because you have limited resources. Let's take that at the back of our mind. The reason why you are seeking opportunities in the first place is because you have limited resources. Resources is not now limited to money. There are sometimes you have money, but your money cannot unlock certain platforms for you regardless. Why? Whether because they are too way expensive for you, or the platform doesn't just require your money, but what? They require someone, your human being, right? Your stories, your struggles, your aspirations, and those are what the platforms require for you to thrive. Yeah, okay, let me just throw it to the public. I would like to throw this to the public. You're having an interview, and they ask you, why should we consider you for this opportunity? What do you say? That's like one part of the question. And then they say, what do you bring to the table, or how are you better than the rest of the candidates? Why should we hire you, and how are you better than the rest of the candidates? How do you approach this question? Who wants to go first? Remember, the reason why you are having this interview or discussion is because you have limited resources. Limited resources, years of experience, limited resources, financial constraints, limited resources. Before I play, I have something I want to play to us that is one of like the ideology or the idea I felt like we should be going about these things. But before I go ahead to play something to us, who wants to attempt that? Why should we hire you, and why do you think you are better than the rest of the other candidates? Who is going? Hands up, or shall I call anybody? Let's give it a try. See, guys, some of the best ways to actually get to unlock opportunities for yourself is being present. You have to be present. Like, you can't be on a call like this with diverse individuals that you don't even know who is who. And then there are opportunities to showcase your skills. There are opportunities to showcase your talent, and then you are not there. Guys, even if I ask us now that between somebody who knows all the book, that knows all the job, and the person is very good, he knows the job, is first class, intellectual brain, and all of those things, but he didn't apply for the job. And the people that apply for the job, who is going to get the job? It's one of those people that applied for the job. Why? Because those people were present. And that's one of the reasons why even in this popular skit making that says it's information that makes one fly. It's not a joke. By lie, it's actually not a joke, right? If you don't have access to the right information, just forget it. Just forget it. Why? Because even where you are, even though you are the best in that thing, the fact that you're not aware that an opportunity is out there, it already makes you lose out. It already makes you lose out. And that's one of the reasons why at every given opportunity, when you have limited resources, you don't hold back. Why? Because you need people to see the inbuilt talent, the inbuilt or inherent skills that you have so that they can support you. You need people to believe in your dream, believe in your stories, and then be able to support you, right? I know Idris quite well, so I won't call Idris this time around. Who wants to try? Why should we hire you? And why are you better than, what do you think you are bringing to the table, or how do you think you are better than the rest of the candidates that have applied? Who wants to try? Let's give it a try. You can unmute your mic and say something. Who wants to try? Let's try, please. Let's make this conversational. Yeah. Great. Your mic is unmuted. You want to say something?
I would just say that, well, if I find myself in such an environment, I would say that ordinarily, before that environment, before you find yourself, you must have gotten information about that organization. You must have an idea of what they are into, what they do, how they do it, and within the industry that they are playing. What level are they? Are they a major player, middle player, or they are starting within that industry? So you must have to equip yourself a little bit. So one such question is being asked that, what are you bringing? Why should you be a better candidate than the others? In presenting your answer, those pre-knowledge that you have about the organization will be useful in telling them that, fine. Let us say it is an accounting department.
Let me try.
Let's say an accounting department. Let's say an accounting department issue. So you must be able to know that you can work on cloud. You can ensure that you have knowledge.
Let's make it practical, sir. Let's make it practical. Tell us if you are in that position, if you are in that situation, and then why should we hire you, and how do you think you are better than the rest of the other candidates? What will be your center of reference? Just make it short now.
Okay, my center of reference will be telling them one, my background, where I have excelled and how I have excelled, and those things that I have done that, in my own opinion, I believe I'm better off. I've tried to infuse it into, when I come into their system, how their system will be improved upon due to all those things that I showcase that I have.
So how do you think you are better than the other candidates that have applied?
I don't know their background, you understand me, but I know my own. I only try to push that if given the opportunity, this and this and this are areas that I am going to improve upon to better the position of the organization as I will be coming on board.
Brilliant. Actually, that is very brilliant, guys. That is very, very brilliant. Honestly. See, everyone on this call, I want us to pay very, very serious attention to this conversation. And a popular mistake that people make when you are asked, why should we hire you? Or why do you think you are better than the rest of the candidates? And you're telling me that you are good in Excel, and you are telling me that you know financial analysis, and you are telling me that you went to Harvard, and you're telling me that you, like, how? Or you are saying that you are very smart, you are an intelligent person. You don't even know the other candidates. You don't even know what their resume is speaking to, and you are laying emphasis to compare yourself with them. That would be a wrong way to approach it. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Great. Right, Ms. Chioma, you have the floor. Then I'll play what I have for us. Then we move on from there.
Okay. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay. From the question you just asked, using myself as an example, what I always do when I go for an interview is definitely before going for the interview, I know what they want. I know the job description they are looking for. So what I do is I concentrate more on my strength, and I try to advertise myself using my strength and linking up my strength to what the company needs. Because from the job description, I know what they need exactly. So my own job is to tell myself in the area I know they need my service, and tell them how well, and give scenarios or situations where I have been able to in that job properly.
Cool. So how do you demonstrate that you are better than the rest of the candidates?
Well, how I demonstrate, I will have to use life case scenarios where I have worked in that capacity and my achievements in working in that capacity.
Brilliant. Like this is these are very brilliant comments. See, guys, if you are on this call and you don't already have this kind of ideology as the ideal response to that kind of question, it is time to learn it. See, why I'm saying that it is time to learn it is because there is no one road to success. My own philosophy. There are several paths that leads to success. My philosophy, my belief. I don't believe that a bird at ants is better than 1,000 in the bush. You have not been to the bush. Don't preach that to me. I don't believe that. Why? Because I'm already, I have limited resources. Why should I be stuck with holding a bird at ant? I would rather go into the bush when I'm ill and hearty and then go and hustle, right? For a very, very big bird out there, right? And what else don't I believe in? I don't believe that a bird at ant is better than thousands in the bush. Nope. That's for those who are risk averse. I'm very, very high risk taker. Also, I don't also believe in the fact that you don't have something great that you can contribute to any place you find yourself. I don't believe that. One way or the other, whether you believe it or not. There is one thing unique about you that even though you feel like you are so low, you are at the bottom of everybody else. Trust me, there is that one unique thing that you have that people struggle to find their ways around. And why am I saying this is because, guys, I'm talking here from Nigeria. I've been opportune to work with people from the US. I've been opportune to work from people with UK, Malaysia, UK, Mauritius, Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, like a whole bunch of countries, even China. I've been opportunity to work with people from China. And one thing that's continued to get me amazed is that I used to think that I'm not as good as I am. But eventually, when I'm on this global landscape of communications, of interacting with people from the other side of the world, I get to even discover that apparently I know more than I think I do. I know more than I think I know. Like, I get to discover that I'm actually well endowed more than I ever think I am. Which is one of the reasons why you must learn to leverage what you have first before you seek for more. Guys, currently I have national diploma in accounting. That is my highest degree qualification. National diploma since 2015. National diploma, nothing else. Then, from after my national diploma, I have my ACA, and that is it. I'm not even in a hurry to get a BSc. And guess what? I have worked in not less than 15 organizations. And guess what? I have worked as external auditor. I've worked as internal auditor. I've worked as junior accountant. I've worked as finance manager. I've worked as senior finance manager. I've worked as vice president of finance and admin, leading a team to direct the affairs of a company that is worth over $40 million, right? Also, I currently work as head of finance, and I don't have a BSc. I don't have a PhD. I don't have an HND. I only have my national diploma in accounting. And like right from way back, each time I try to go back to school to go and say, let me go and get my BSc, something keeps telling me that I'm not even yet done utilizing my ND. Like, I'm not yet done getting the benefits that my ND has to provide to me. So why am I in a hurry to go back to school to go and get BSc or get PhD, right? But before I digress too much, let's go back to answering this question. Why should we hire you, or why should we select you for this opportunity? And why do you think, or how do you think you are better than the rest? Guys, please, let's listen attentively, because we are talking about you leveraging what you have, your limited resources, to access global opportunities here. So let's learn from we've learned from Mr. Great, we've learned from Ms. Chioma, and then let's learn from this particular recording that I want to play to us. This is a very, very unique response, and it also lay emphasis on what we are going to be building this discussion on, around why everybody on this call must have very, very good storytelling skills. Very, very good. It is not debate, it is not negotiable. Everybody on this call, as you are leaving this call, one of the key things you must find your way around is storytelling. Storytelling. Why? Because the person that usually gets the opportunity is the one that the story is the most convincing. And listen to this.
Why should we select you as a Rhodes Scholar?
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Kobe, and thanks so much, members on the panel. My name is Mohammed Al Fati. It's a compound name, but of course you can call me Muhammad. So I don't think I can exactly say why you should select me as a Rhodes Scholar, but I can try as much as possible to tell my story and convince you enough that a worthy investment. Foremost, I think my unique experiences and perspectives, and as well as struggles and aspirations, will come to play to answer this. I cannot cite academic excellence because I believe that candidates at this stage also have that, but not all of the candidates that you have at this stage of the scholarship would have probably have the kind of experiences that I've had. I'm someone who is very passionate about personal growth. I don't want to tie this to my personality as an advocate, but I find fulfillment in seeing that I can help others grow and identify the best version of themselves. And that's the kind of world that I see as well, where perhaps education is not a privilege, but it's something that everyone can have, and where everyone can have their dignity respected and assured, and where everyone, man or woman, can also aspire to be the best version of themselves. I'm also very teachable and creative. I love to debate. I love to bring out insights, and I love to look out at issues from different perspectives. I think that being selected as a Rhodes Scholar would really be beneficial to me, to the Rhodes community, because of the unique experiences, perspectives that I'll also be bringing in. And it'll also be useful to the communities that I'm involved in, the communities that I lead, the communities that I contribute to. So I see this going beyond just an investment on Muhammad, or I see it as having a multiplier effect on the different communities that I belong to as well. I'm someone who likes to, apart from my academic interest in digital media and ethics, in media sociology, in information and ethics, I see that I'm someone who loves to bring in new energy. And this is something I also think that the Rhodes Scholar is about. Apart from the academic excellence, I'm also someone who does sports. I do karate, I do Scrabble, I run, I play soccer as well as ping pong. And I've also been able to, over the years, demonstrate that I can do beyond just education. And I think this is something that will also stand me out. Not many people would be able to combine academics with work. I had to do that as a student, running out of lecture rooms just to travel some distance to teach some kids and earn some money to be able to subsist for the month. So I've been able to juggle this over the years while still maintaining good academic records, while still giving back to my society, while still ensuring that my friends and the communities that I belong to, I contribute actively to them. I think these are very valid and valuable traits, and I hope to bring them all to Rhodes and mesh it with the long-standing heritage that the trust has.
That's it. Right. Are we still together? Can we hear me?
Yes, sir.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, interesting. Can we see the connection between what Mr. Great said and what Ms. Chioma said and what Muhammad also said? You see, when you are trying to unlock opportunities, most especially when you already know that you have a very, very limited background, maybe due to financial crisis or due to exposure, lack of exposure, or due to just environmental challenges, trust me, you can't win a challenge by bragging around you better than the rest. Why? Because we all have unique experiences. And this is the foundation you are actually meant to build your own story. Tell your story. Guys, who wants to tell me, what did you pick from this particular, what Muhammad said on that call? Okay, Latifa Bello, since you are unmuted, go ahead.
Okay, sir. The guy focused more on his strengths.
Exactly. Go ahead. Thank you very much. Olatunji Lukman.
Yeah, so two things I picked actually. Number one is being able to multitask, right? It made the employer understand that I can do more than what you want me to do with the available resources that I have. And secondly, the passion to ensure growth is consistent, and what he thinks he can also contribute, right? This is one of those things he also pointed out. Yeah, he told them what exactly is happening and how that has affected his own background, what his desire and aspirations are, and he tries to relate it with the community he finds himself or he's aspiring to join. So those are those things, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Toib, your hand is up. Thank you very much. Then, yeah, Toib, go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir. So, from the audio, what I got is that abilities to bring what you've done in the past, ability to bring it to the table where you are at the moment. So, just say I did this, I did that, and I was able to achieve good results, and bringing it to where you are and tries to align that with the organization vision objective. I think that is
Very
what he.
perfect. Toib, let me corroborate with what you have said. Guys, what Toib just said is what is called like something like check and balances. People want to believe that it's not as if you just drop from heaven. You used to be somewhere before. How did you perform where you were before you get here? And that is why people will entrust you with more. That is how people get to entrust you with more. You have to be able to utilize everything within your surroundings first before you seek global opportunities. Because sometimes this also relates to work. You are at work, your boss is giving you small jobs to do or small tasks to do. You have to consistently excel at that if you want to unlock greater level of challenges. It's almost like a game, right? Before I move on, Okon, your hand was up earlier on. Still on. Please go ahead. Go ahead, please. Okay, let's have Toby. If Okon is not here, let's have Toby to speak.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay,
Right.
what I was able to pick from that voice note is okay. Now the thing is, he was not only talking about soft skills. Okay, I'm a team worker. I know how to work with. I'm a team player, something like that. He was able to tell us his story, how he was able to collaborate with his colleague or his environment. So whenever you're telling the story about yourself, you just don't tell them that okay, I'm someone that knows how to work in a team. Yes, you know how to work in a team, but have you ever worked in a team? Have you ever worked with people before? How were you able to excel in that aspect? So he was able to tell them about practical aspects. So that's what I was
Thank you
able
very
to
much.
pick from it.
Then I'll call Idris. Idris, go ahead, then we'll move on. I also tell my story, and then we'll get to the bottom of this conversation. Idris.
Okay, so I think the most important thing I took from that particular note was the fact that it further emphasized the importance of communication skills that you've been mentioning since the beginning of this particular session. You see the way the guy was able to sync his thought process, the things he has done over the years, and the impact he will go on to make if picked for the community. I think that was it for me, because he was able to convincingly tell his story. You know, telling your story is actually different from putting it in the right way or the right manner. He was able to sync all those things he has done, and from the way he voiced out those things, you could see the passion, you could feel the impact of what he has done and what he intends to do. And from what he said alone, one would even feel that by the time you pick him for the community, he's actually going to be a very, very great asset for the community, and is going to make much more impact with more resources.
Exactly. With more resources. Can you guys, so these are clear-cut insights into, see, the truth of the matter is that, number one thing is that for us, most especially those of us that we are in Nigeria, for us, we are already like -5 or whatever it is, right? But guess what? Even though you are -5, inbuilt inside you, you have something you can always leverage. The little resources you have around you, bring them together, mix them up, use them to create something small, no matter how small, then go and talk about it. Guys, let me ask us a question. I said I have national diploma in accounting. So far, I really have national diploma in accounting. I've never been to the university, and in all honesty, I'm not even so sure that I care about that much. In fact, I'm not so sure I care about it that much, because I've traversed the career world long, maybe not so long, short enough to know that, bro, you don't need to be PhD holders before you get some certain things. Let me ask us, if I'm applying for a job in your organization, and you see me that I have national diploma, how will you feel? Will you want to hire me? No, Latifa, you can mute your mic. I want new set of people. Thank you. I want new set of people to contribute. This is an open floor. Somebody has national diploma and is applying for a job in your organization. How will you feel? Will you hire the person? Jalil, go ahead.
Okay, good evening. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. I just joined the program now and it's already mind-blowing. So to answer your question, it depends on the requirement for the job.
The job requirement is BSc or MBA. Somebody with an ND is applying. What happened? Do you consider the person?
Honestly, I will not consider the person.
Thank you. Because thank you very much for your honest feedback. Let's hear from Deborah. Deborah, will you consider the person?
I will not consider the person because I feel the person does not have what it takes to perform on the job.
Because you feel like the person does not have what it takes to do the job. It is quite easy. And guys, trust me, these are the ways people make decisions on your behalf without you being there. Without even knowing your stories. Without even knowing your struggles. People just stay somewhere and then they make decisions on your behalf. Like, that is life. That is just life. Mr. Great, go ahead. Grace Adeoye, can you hear me? You are muted if you are speaking. Okay. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, my gentlemen and ladies, what I will say that for the guy to have been shortlisted in the first instance, his resume will have shown that he has what they are looking for. It's not necessarily the ACA, CIT, or FC, or federal, or this and that. If he has what they are looking for, they will invite him to listen to his story and see whether he fits into the organization.
Sorry that I'm cutting in, but let me ask you this question. Let's say you are the one you are reviewing the guy's resume, and on top of it, like this, you're already seeing that it is ND, national diploma, that is there. When you are hiring and you need somebody with BSc, MBA, or MSc, do you shortlist the guy?
It's the CV that will determine. It's his background, his experience that he has on the CV that will determine whether he will be shortlisted or not.
Good.
If he's not being shortlisted, he need to prove himself. I've been in a forum where we have people with BSc, people with MBA, people with professional qualification, and they do not have that require experience that organization is looking for. So it is your background in terms of experience and exposure to deal with the situation that they want, that will make them to choose the guy in the first instance for shortlisting. If they have shortlisted the guy, the issue of whether he has ND or BSc is not the critical thing now. The critical thing is what is his background, his experience, his IT knowledge, the type of places he has worked, and those things will determine whether let us listen to him. Let us listen to him or not.
Okay, cool.
Immediately he was shortlisted on the panel, he has gone beyond whether he's a degree holder or ND holder. So those are the, in my opinion, that's what I think.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that. See, let me tell you guys, if at all there are any HR people on this platform, I would love to hear from them. Anybody that's doing HR. But let me just move on while we are waiting for HR people to show interest in speaking. Guys, to be very honest with you, when a recruiter is reviewing your CV, and that's why when people ask me, Kudus, Iwilabi, what should come first on my CV? My work or my experience or what? I tell them, put your best foot forward. Anything that will make whoever that is reviewing your CV to get interest and continue to review it or to shortlist you. That's what you should put forward. Why? Because, see, people just make decisions without knowing what you have gone through to get to where you are. People just make decisions. They don't even know you, right? now, because people make decisions without knowing you, it now means that at the very, very little opportunity you have, you must tell your story. At the look at what Mr. Great said around exposure, experience, like you have to convince us. That is storytelling. You can't convince people by leading by saying, good day, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper. My name is Kudus Adibowale. I'm a very nice guy. I'm intelligent. I am a team player. I'm a very good communicator. I graduated with first class. People will just be looking at this one and say, what's wrong with this one? Maybe they will not even say what's wrong with this one. They will just fantastic. But if they bring in somebody else and the guy was telling a story of how he moves from being a 2-2 guy to eventually in year one, I had 2-2. I faced some challenges because I was sponsoring myself to school. Then eventually I was able to get MTN Foundation scholarship. And before you know it, I was able to get 2-1. And before you know it, I was able to graduate with first class. What? Trust me, the guy gets the job. Because this person has been able to prove that they can leverage what they have. They have been able to prove resilience. They've been able to prove that action yields results. And now, let me go to my story briefly, right? I'm sharing my screen shortly. Then I'll use it to talk about my story. I'm coming, please. Let me share something with us. I'll share my screen shortly. Where are you? Let me know once you can see my screen once I start sharing. I wrote this one in 2019, so I'm coming. I will share the screen now. Let me know once you can see my screen. Okay, I think. Let me know once you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, you can see it. Yes, sir.
So guys, look at this guy.
Very clearly we can see it.
Very well. Look at this. And these are like some of the reasons, these are like some of the ways you unlock opportunities using your limited resources. Look at this. See, I was going to, I was applying for a role for account personnel in a very big organization, right? And this has always been me, right? I have national diploma, and this is an organization where, like, for you to even be an entry level, you have to have your BSc. You are even have HND, trust me, probably you are going to be like part of the all those contracts kind of stuff, right? When I was applying for the job, look at this guy. Good day, sir. My name is Baluk. Nobody asked me this question. I saw this job advert on a WhatsApp platform in 2019. I could have easily just go ahead and send my CV and just leave it like that. Nobody sent me to tell my story. But I have to tell my story because, bro, I have national diploma. Even people with HND are struggling. I have national diploma. You can't even imagine how the struggle will look like if I'm not able to tell my story that, see, you are only seeing national diploma. I'm more than that. Right? In the form, they only ask you to fill whether you have BSc or HND or ND or other degree. And I only put national diploma. And that's the only thing you know. Right? So I always have to tell my story at every given opportunity. Good day, sir. My name is Balog Kudus Adibowale, a young professional with relatively 4 years in the field of accountancy, spanning across industries like business communication, accounting services, FMCG, and then currently working in NGO and agro-allied industry. I'm an associate accounting technician, West Africa, and a qualified accountant possessing great skills in area of presentation and interpretation of financial analysis, planning, budgeting, and what have you. After seeing your job advert on a professional platform requesting for the service of a qualified account personnel, I deemed it fit that it would be a great pleasure to serve you in your company while exhibiting the core values, integrity, blah, blah, blah. Why do I want to use in this place? Is the fact that, was when I was just starting out. I dare not mention that I just only have ND. I tell my story differently. I use that I have AAT, and then nothing speaks to any other thing. Please go and check my CV. before we continue the conversation. Let's look at this one, then compare it with this guy. Now, look at this guy. This was 2021. That role, I got invited. I got the role in 2021. In 2019, rather. I got the role. Even though in my career, I had national diploma. And then I got the role. I did well. Eventually, this was 2021. Dear hiring manager. And this particular role was seen on LinkedIn in 2021. A friend saw it on LinkedIn and they shared with me that I should apply. I applied using my phone. This same phone that I'm holding was the same thing I used to apply. Right? Like, you have to know. And meanwhile, the day I was applying, then I was out of job. I was at home. Like, I was out of job. I was at home. And then a friend said I should apply. You know, somebody that is out of job that is at home, you could even imagine that to buy data, sometimes I struggle. In fact, my phone had earlier gotten spoiled before the time I applied for this job. I just borrowed money to buy this phone that I'm holding in 2021 as at then. I just borrowed money from my guys to buy it so that when I eventually do some side gigs and then I'm able to repay them back. I bought the phone then for... Why am I telling us this? I'll tell us why I'm telling us all these stories. Because everybody needs to know that. See, the people that are winning out there started somewhere. And it's not as if they started really, really big. I bought this phone then for 70K or thereabout. And I had to borrow from friends to be able to purchase it. Right? And when I purchased it, you could even tell that maybe I can't even remember whether I have a system. Maybe I had a system, but it's not something that I can easily say I want to connect Wi-Fi to. Where do I see money for connecting Wi-Fi to a system? There was a time that I feel like connecting a Wi-Fi to a system is luxury. Because I'm always scared that by the time I connect my 200 megabytes to the system, it's finished. You know? So when a friend sent me that to say, okay, apply for this job, you are qualified. It was on my phone that I applied for the job, that I wrote all of these things out on my phone. So some people will say they cannot do one thing because they don't have a system. Like what? No. See, I said, yeah. Dear hiring manager, I trust this mail meets you well and you are continually staying safe during this period because it was just a few months post COVID 2020. So I usually use that pleasantries to say, hope you are staying safe. Sequel to your recent job posting, kindly find attach my resume indicating my interest for the above position. Manager, financial plan, financial accounting and reporting. Then, funny enough, it's funny. Why? Why is it funny? Was because the role clearly states that they are hiring BSc. BSc is the minimum requirement for the education. The role clearly states it. But when the friend that saw the role saw it, the friend is not even an accountant. He's a linguist. And that's one of the reasons why I always tell my guys, you cannot say you are looking for opportunities and your friends don't know about it. It is not just making sense. You're looking for a job, but your friend doesn't know about it. Who then wants to help you? It's not just making sense. So my friend then was a linguist and he saw the job role. He sent it to my WhatsApp. When I read through, I saw that he requested for BSc. But when I looked at the experience, I knew that these were things that spirit, I have the energy to go in and do something, right? So I picked up my phone, I applied. When I was talking about myself, I said, could this is a national diploma holder in accountancy. However, I could have not even spoken about the national diploma in accountancy, right? But I had to bring it in because I wanted to play to my favor. Because of the kind of story I was telling. Buying into emotions. And you have to know how to leverage it and when to leverage it. Right? I don't know who was going to be reading this, but I'm telling you, see, could this is the national diploma in holder in accountancy? I know that the minimum job requirement you are asking for is BSc. I know. But I'm a national diploma. However, I'm an associate accounting technician, a chartered accountant at the Institute of Chartered Accountant of Nigeria, a CFA Investment Foundation certificate holder, and a student member with the Associate Association of Chartered Certified Accountant, ACCA. His career journey has made him acquired knowledge from industry experts, sharpened his skill and expertise through field experience instead of just classroom learning. Why do you think I put instead of just classroom learning? Who wants to try? Why do you think I put instead of just classroom learning? Go ahead. Who is going? I can't see who's. Yeah, go ahead.
So in school, everyone believed that what they taught us is theoretical aspects. So instead of just classroom learning, you're talking about the practical aspects.
Yeah. That's not the exact reason why I put that instead of just classroom learning. Who wants to try?
Can I try?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, so they are looking for a BSc holder.
Exactly.
And BSc holders generally have classroom learning, but not necessarily practical experience.
Exactly. Because they were asking for BSc, but I don't have BSc. I have national diploma. The time that I will take a BSc holder to complete his or her BSc is 4 years, but national diploma is just 2 years. After my 2 years, I have been working. So because I don't have a BSc, I have to chip that in to tell you to just differentiate myself that, see, if you are looking for BSc holder, it's maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years of experience. As at then, I was already almost like my 6 years of experience. So I have a lot more experience to bring to your table. So instead of just classroom learning, and I said, this has made him an appreciated value addition to any team or organization. He is a multifaceted professional with relatively 6 years of work experience, spanning across over 5 business industry: business communication, accountancy services, FMCG, agri-tech, NGO, real estate, and financial services industry. Over the years, Kudus he has built skills, attended training, and acquired certification. The reason why I put he has built skills, attended training, and acquired certification is because you don't just want to list skills. You don't just list skills. When you talk about the sources of your skills, people tend to believe you more. There's a difference between somebody saying, I am very good at Excel, and somebody saying, I have completed over 20 courses on Excel. There's a big difference. The person that said, I have completed over 20 courses on Excel, people tend to even believe that he knows more than they think he knows, than somebody that is saying, I am good at Excel, or I'm very good at Excel. Because people can then relate to the sources of your knowledge. You know? So when people are able to relate to the sources of your knowledge, they tend to believe you more. If there is a difference between somebody trying to prove that I am a very good leader and somebody saying that while I was in school, I was the class representative of my class, leading over 500 students and attending to their needs from time to time, liaising with lecturers on their behalf, and all of those things. There is a big difference. Even though if the other guy is a lot more smarter, knows these leadership skills better, because you just said you have leadership skills or you're a very good leader, it won't make you qualify for the job. You have to be able to tell that story so that you can easily tell them that you have once at a time leveraged the little resources you have to create good values, right? And that's one of the reasons why I go here and say I have attended training, I have acquired certifications around executive leadership, financial management, corporate reporting, budgeting and forecasting, operational excellence, risk management. Even though as an ND holder, I have taken all these courses. Why did I take all these courses? Because I know that they were free. I took all of them for free. I couldn't afford to go back to school. And why didn't I go back for my BSc in the first place? I finished in 2015. I had a good result, right? 2016, I went for my IT internship. And I work in a small-sized audit firm, the one that a number of people can call Namina U audit firm, right? I work closely with my boss, right? And it was just me and my boss. I was being paid 10,000 naira per month. 2016, 10,000 naira per month. You know, I did the job for 10 months, yeah, February to November, 10 months, right? And that's just 100K, you know? Even with this job that I did for 10 months, do you expect me to have savings? No. But when I was doing that job, I have access to internet. I have access to laptop. I continue taking courses when I'm free. I use the internet to take courses. Since I cannot get good money, I use the internet, I use the resources at my disposal to do what I know will push me to the next step. When I was done with the job after 10 months, I was supposed to go back to school for direct entry, but I didn't get the admission, right? I didn't get the admission. Then I was supposed to be at home. And then what am I supposed to be doing at home, right? That's the question. I don't know what else to do. In fact, there was a time I used to think that before you can be chartered accountant, you need to have a BSc, you need to have gone to school. Until when I met a friend at KPMG then, that did his internship with KPMG. He was literally earning like 50K while I was earning 10K, you know. And this friend was, you know, he has a lot more exposure. And the friend was telling me that he wanted to do ICANN ATS3. And in my mind, I was like, what is ICANN ATS3? Then I had to like know more about it. Some of us, we don't have solid exposures. And these are some of the reasons why you must attend platforms like this, where all of these things are being shared. Because some of us I attended Federal Polytechnic Ilaro in I graduated 2015, right? In Federal Polytechnic Ilaro. Now, let me tell you something about exposure. In 2018, I went to the same Federal Polytechnic Ilaro to I used to lecture. I was lecturing these ND2 students one day, right? I was teaching them. And then I asked them, oh, after you are done with your ND, where are you going to do your internship? Nobody knows. They were just like, we'll do our internship. And I'm like, okay, you know, for you as an accounting student, as a graduate of accounting, and a number of them as distinction students. And I was trying to ginger them. And I'm like, okay, you know what? You people, you are very sound. You people should be aiming to work with the big four, the likes of KPMG, EY, Deloitte, PwC. And guess what those guys told me? They asked me, did I mean Bitcoin? Bitcoin? I was talking about Big Four. They were asking me, did I mean Bitcoin? Because they've never heard of Big Four before. You know, and I'm like, what? You know, Big Four, that is almost every accounting student dream of place of work. And then some people I'm telling them about it, that they are asking me whether I mean Bitcoin. Is exposure. I also don't know about Big Four before now. And those are some of the reasons why, if you are an undergraduate here, count yourself lucky, because you are getting the exposure a lot earlier than many people. I was discussing with one of my friends of recent, and then she had told me that she was earning 20K. She's a degree holder. And I thought I read 200K. She wanted to go for an interview. She was filling the form, and then she asked me, how much should I ask for? She doesn't know the amount to ask for. She now told me that she's earning 20K, but I read it as 200K because I don't expect her to be earning 20K. So I read it as 200K. Then when she asked me how much should I ask for, and I responded 500K, and she screamed in my DM like, nobody can pay me such an amount. And I was like, am I missing something? Until when I sent the message to my mentees and they were pointing it out that, Oga Iwelabi, do you mean from somebody should go from 20K to 500K? And I'm like, for you? Apparently it was 20K the lady was earning, and I was saying she should go for 500K. But guess what? This lady cannot by herself request for that 500K. Why? Because she's currently earning 20K. But guess what? This lady has a BSc. Meanwhile, there are some organizations where entry level, no experience at all, is almost 500K entry level, what's it called? Entry level entrance salary. 500K. There are some that 700K or more entry level. But this lady has some experience, and I told her to go and ask for 500K, even though she's already working and she's earning 20K, and she couldn't go. And that is because the exposure is starting too late, or not, maybe not necessarily too late, but the exposure is starting late. Imagine that this lady has been attending this kind of session while she was in school, and then she has earned herself, she has acquired some skills around CV writing, business writing, or financial statement analysis, and she has been using it to freelance, right? Assume that she has been using it to freelance while she was in school, and she's earning like 10K, 20K from those side gigs. If she graduates, will she accept a job of 20K? No, it is not just possible. I have some of my mentees on this call that when they graduated, they were earning very big, you know? And why? Because they have access to that information, the exposure. So everybody on this call, you cannot be having limited financial situations and still not be outspoken and still not be out there for people to know about you or for your friends to know that you're seeking opportunities, right? You have to learn to use the limited resources you have to get the big dreams you are chasing. And it is very possible. How? I said I started with 10K. When I started with 10K after my IT, I couldn't go back to school, right? I was at home. Then the next thing was, what do I have to do? I started preparing for a TS3 exam without even knowing who was going to pay for it because I was living with my grandma. I don't have savings, right? And then before you know it, I was preparing, and then my grandma, I was able to convince her, if I'm able to do the exam, I can get a better job. And then she sponsored the exam. I could have waited that I didn't go for tutorial. I have to go for tutorial before I write the exam. But I don't have the luxury. And I also believe in something. Start early, fail early, retreat. Like start early, fail early, know your missions, know the things that are important, and then be able to move on from there. And then after I was done with my ATS3, the next month, April 2017, I got another job, of which I was applying online. I got another job that was paying me 52K, from 10K to 52K. In fact, when they asked me how much do I want, that I said they should pay me 60K or something. Mean that when I was in school, I used to brag that any job that cannot pay me 100K, I will not do. But when I hit road, when reality sets in, that I trekked from a hotel to the other side, that I was trekking via submitting my CV in suit back then in 2015, that I know what's up. After 3 months, no job. I settled for 10,000 then, you know. After then, I was doing my next interview. They asked me, how much do you want? I said they should pay me 60,000. They asked me what if they want to pay me 50K? Will I accept? Oh, I will not accept. I was very happy. You know, when they even offer 50K, I was very happy. From 10K to 50K, that's a lot of money. Very happy, you know. And the next thing, after I did that for a while, I couldn't afford to say I'm not working again and go back to school for my BSc. Why? Because who's going to sponsor that BSc? And that's where I started my ICANN skills. I was doing my ICANN skills. When I did that for a while, after a while, I was done by 2017, 2018, I was done with ICANN. You know, when I was done with my ICANN, they promoted me from the job to, in that job to internal audit, and they added 10K to my salary. Then my eyes was already open very well. 10K to my salary after working for 1 year and some months. 10K. I resigned. Like, then I was already getting more involved. Like, even the money that I used to do my ICANN was like self-sponsored. Like, if I'm not even self-sponsored, there were times where during my final ICANN exam, I had already used my salary to sponsor another professional certification. And then I couldn't afford my ICANN exam. I had to be calling colleagues. They had to be contributing for me. Someone even contributed as low as 2K. I accepted it. I know the struggles, and then wants to increase my salary. They were adding 10K or stuff like that. Who does that? I left. You know, I left. And afterwards, you know, I began to like know what real value means. After my 10, after the job, I got another job by 2019, 200K by 2020. This particular job. Let me now come back to this particular job. I said something around Kudus dynamism is born as a result of his passion for quality delivery and professional excellence. I am talking about dynamism because I know that in today's world, people love those who are versatile. People love those who they feel like, okay, this guy, if you hire him to come and be doing financial reporting and he can also do budgeting, it's good though. Or he can also do tax. It saves us money, you know. And I knew that the job is an education role. I said, could use a career and human capital development enthusiast and is open to relocation because I knew that the job is in another city while I was in Lagos there. By the time I was interviewed for the role, when I was given the offer, you know, by 2020, in 2019, I got the other job that I showed us not quite long. I got this one in 2019. I got this. I did the job for like some 8 months or thereabout. Then I left. End of 2019, 2020, COVID set in 2020. When COVID set in, I was practically at home doing freelancing and hammering on my skills. Let me tell you the tricks. Each time that I'm resigning my jobs, I've resigned not less than 5 jobs. When I'm tired, I resign, I go back home. No story. Why? Because I know that each time I'm resigning my job, I'm coming back to the industry bigger, stronger, more energized, and I'm very, very like ready to call for money, right? Why do I usually resign? Because I used to feel like when things are not moving the way I expect them to move, when I'm not getting motivated and all of those things, before I start misbehaving on the job, I resign. I go back home. When I go home, what do I go and do? I go and do more push-ups. What do I mean by push-ups? Register for more courses, go and complete one course or the other. It will be tough, obviously. In 2020, after I left this job in 2019, and then in 2020, COVID set in, I was at home freelancing because I've already acquired some skills, obviously. I know how to review CV, I freelance, I write, and all of those things. And then I used to offer my accounting services to all these small startups that want to raise funds, they want to apply for bank loan and all of those things. I used to offer my service kind of to them, right? Just to help them put their books together, use their bank statement to prepare something. Guys, you can do that, you know? So I used to do all of those things. Then where am I going is this? Where am I going to land? By the end of 2020, I was not working full time. I was not earning anything. This was 2021, February 2021. In 2021 as well, I don't have full-time job. I was at home. In fact, from my side gig, sometimes I barely make 100K in a month. And I was already chartered. I've already qualified. I barely make 100K and I'm at home. Each time that I'm at home, I'm doing what? More push-ups. That was, I'm sure some of people here, maybe those who started following me early, it was 2021 that I became very, very active on LinkedIn. Why? Because, you know, I needed to like use what I have to get what I want, you know? And before you know it, when I interviewed for this role, right, the next thing was when it came to negotiation and all of those things, I negotiated well. They asked me how much do you want? Me that I was at home, I wasn't earning anything. I barely make 100K in a month. They asked me how much do I want? I said 500K. Even me myself, when I said it, I was shocked, right? But because I was at home and I feel like I have nothing to lose. If I get it, fine. If I don't get it, fine. I said 500K. And I was ready to like let the job go if I don't get it, right? So the next thing was, by the time the offer came, I was so scared. I was scared. Somebody scared me, scared of money. I was so scared because I feel like, who pays an NDO that 500 in this country? You know, very scared. Eventually got to do the job, and before you know it, I did well in the job and got promoted, and before you know it, I got to the highest level, the highest rank in terms of vice president of finance and admin in the company before I left. Why am I telling us all of these things, guys? It's simply because all these things comes with very good storytelling skills. You have to be able to tell your story. You have to be able to tell your story. Now, when I was doing a recent interview, right, even with my ND, when I was doing a recent interview, and then, in fact, I've interviewed with EY Dublin before for an assistant manager role, and then after the assistant manager role, they called me to come and do a manager role. When I was doing my interview, like, they don't even ask about my BSc or no BSc. The focus was all over the experiences that I had, you know. So when I was doing a recent interview for head of finance as well in my current role, when I was being interviewed for the role, it was simply storytelling. If I'm in an interview, I can't even allow you to ask me technical questions. You won't be able to, because by the time I already bring my story to your table, even you yourself, you will just be curious as to how did you get here. That's what you'll be curious about. Like, how did you get here? And that is the trick to leveraging your limited resources to unlock global opportunities. Tell your own stories. Tell your struggles. Tell your aspirations. Tell those stories. Let people be willing to help you. Let people be willing to support you. Because imagine that, let's be sincere with ourselves. Imagine that there is a young boy in your area. This boy is in primary school, and this boy has been fortunate to attend a public primary school for like 3 consecutive terms from primary 2, first class, second. The guy was taking first position, first time, second time, third time, primary 3, first position, and then primary 4. It happens that this guy, the parents couldn't afford his education again, one way or the other, and you know about it, and you have the resources. will you not be willing to help? You'll be willing to help because you know the story. You feel like this is a talent. If you support this talent will grow to become bigger stuff. You know, at this point, I think I've spent a lot of time. This is 6:21 already. I think we should begin to make it a lot more conversational. Guys, let's the floor is open for some question and answer, and then let's have those who have questions, those who have experiences to share. The floor is open. Now let's get there. If you have anything to say, you can raise your hand, and then Moses Archer, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Taiwo Messi, please mute your mic. Taiwo Messi, please mute your mic. Thank you.
Yes,
okay, go ahead.
I want to ask about the expectations and considerations for somebody who is transiting from public sector into the corporate firm. Does the experience there in the public sector really count for experience higher in the private sector? And what are the likely challenges one is we face while trying to transit from a public sector job to professional practice? Yes, sir.
See, number one thing you will face is you have to battle with a lot of perspectives. People already have these perspectives about public sector. So you have to first even start finding your ways to correct the image. Why? Because people already have that public sector, they are not doing anything, they are just there they go by 9 a.m., close by 12 p.m. People already have those perspectives, and you have to be ready to tell your story to convince people to move them away from that perspective. What do I mean? You are working in the public sector, for example, not doing so much. Why not start freelancing with other people? You know, why not start freelancing with other people such that you are able to like add values and you're able to talk about it, right? You want to move from what is it called? Public sector to private sector. You definitely need to know, okay, what is the role you are applying to? What are the how do you think you are doing as to the required skill set for the role? Then you have to acquire those skill sets. When you acquire those skill sets, then you have to be able to tell the stories of how you acquire those skill sets. You know, so people usually believe that public sector guys are not sound. Then you have to convince them that you are sound. That's even to your advantage now, because you have to be able to tell the story. Oh, away from popular perspective where people feel like public sectors are not doing anything. While I was at XYZ local government or stuff like that, I was in charge of XYZ thing, and I ensured that I did diligently. I saved XYZ amount of money for the government. I did this automation. I did that. You have to leverage. You know that. Let me tell you, that public sector that you mentioned is also similar to working with a startup. If you don't know, let me tell you today. Working with some public sector is like you are working with some startups where you have control to do whatever you want to do. You have control to decide the kind of job you do. So, for example, you have been hired as head of finance in a startup. You have the control to decide the kind of great work you want to do, benchmarking against global standard. You want to ensure that there is management account. You want to ensure that there is financial report. You want to ensure that there is this. You want to ensure that there is schedules for everything. You want to ensure that there is approval process. You have the right, unlike in some organizations where everything that they do is already like outlined. You cannot go against it. This is the way we do it. This is the way we do it. No innovations, nothing. In public sector, since you are like the only one that you want to do work, you will work. And you'll be able to talk about those work. And that's like the ideal thing. You start from doing what you want to go and talk about in your next interview. Start from doing what you want to go and talk about in your next interview. To summarize, right, from public sector to private sector means that you are going to have to correct a lot of perspectives, right? Perspectives that already believe that they don't do anything in public sector. You have to now be doing things that you'll be able to go and talk about. Oh, different from what you guys think is happening. Oh, this is what I have been doing here. So that people can then believe your story and then grant you the opportunity to also explore the private sector. I hope that's kind of addressed your questions.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Odejimi Oluwabumi.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So basically, my question is, I'm facing like a professional, I feel like I'm at a choking point. Let me put it like that, whereby, okay, I graduated from university 2021, and I've done my NYSC, and I'm in Lagos currently. So currently, I'm at an oil and gas company, a leading oil and gas company, where I'm a contract staff there. So I was asked to, I wanted to confirm, because that was the reason why I actually applied for the contract position, At least there's a possibility of being confirmed and being done to a permanent, staff. So I went for the interview, and where I got the response that I am too young. Okay. So now that
Okay.
so now that's not even the problem. So I got an offer from another company. Okay, basically, as a contract position where I am currently, I earn 110. So now the new place I got, which is actually a startup, is actually like 170. So my problem now about moving to the other place is, it's not, I've already associated myself with a big brand of the oil and gas company, and the company is actually a big company. So while they still want to renew the contract with me, better the terms of the contract. I don't like the idea of being a contract staff, because one thing I've noticed and I've understood, I learned a lot. I've been learning, and it's been it's been quite the experience. One thing I don't like about contract position is, they'll pay you the price of junior staff, but the workload, bro, you're working is
Let me tell you. Let me summarize. Just summarize so that I can respond.
No, the problem I'm having is, if I move to this company, that would mean like I'm leaving the brand, because I feel like the brand of the company also affects my brand as an accountant, going out there to get another job. So moving to that new company, now I'm at a crossroads. Should I move to the other company? Should I, negotiate more year? And one thing about negotiating more year is they can't even pay me up to 150 as a contract staff.
If you ask me, honestly, if you ask for my opinion, 110 and 170, the difference is not enough to warrant a serious movement. If you are going to move from 110, maybe because of my kind of person, if my mentees are on this call, they can tell you. If you are going to move from that 110, I can tell you to go elsewhere that will probably give you 500, 400. That's a good move. But from 110 to 170, that's 50K. That technically means that by the time you work for a company for a couple of times, can the company help you to increase your salary from 170 to 350, 300K in no time? If the answer is a yes, then maybe. But if not, then it's still doesn't worth it, in my opinion. Why? Because if you are with a big brand, you can continue to go with the big brand and continue to enjoy the benefit that comes with the brand till you are able to get a better opportunity out there. You can easily get in, there are some, maybe not you can easily get, but there are some, of course, entry-level roles out there that pays as high as 350K. There are some entry-level roles out there that pays as high as 250, 500, and all of those things. Why not wait for those ones? Then you want to quickly leave a big brand to join a startup that will probably pay you a differential of 50K. That's not, in my opinion, enough to move. Maybe because if you watch the environment closely and you feel like the environment is becoming toxic, maybe because some people are saying that you are too young or something. If it's because of another reason aside from the money, then you can move. But if it's just money, then it's in my opinion, it's not yet time for you to move. Right. That's just my honest opinion. I hope that helps. it might not address what you really want.
No,
But
that's I
I,
think
I really hope
I really don't want to leave also. But then I'm just looking at the contract's position. But then I just realized that I don't
from
need
the contract, let me quickly
Sure.
share you my experience. Sorry.
Okay.
While I was working in one of the big firms that I worked, I have ND and I was already chartered. I was being paid 200K gross. And then the entry level BSc with no experience, we're getting over 300, right? And they have a lot more benefits than myself because I was, even though I was a full-time staff, I was like a junior staff. Even with my almost 4 years of experience, I was still regarded as a junior staff against BSc holders. But guess what? Those guys doesn't even do as much as I do. And that prompted me then in 2019 that I must always review my CV every month. So every month I rewrite my CV. Why? I must add new skill sets. I must add new strength. I must add new this. I must add new that. So much that by the time I'm applying for my next role, I can bid higher. And guess what? By the time I was eventually got a new role that is solid, it was 500. Do you get? And that's working with that big brand actually helped. Because during the course of the interview, right, the person that was interviewing me has been an auditor for the big brand before.
Okay.
And then the person was like, oh, you said you work XYZ. You work in this place. Who was your boss? I said, this person was my boss. He said, are you sure? What if I call your boss and ask him about you? What would they say about you? I said, call him. And he called my boss. And my boss recommended me highly, like, hire him. And that's it. So you can't trade that brand for just a differential of 50K. For me, in my opinion. I hope that helps. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Toyosi, over to you. I have limited time now. If you want to ask someone, please raise your hand early enough because I have limited time now. Toyosi, please go ahead.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate for your time and for the effort put together for this section. God bless. My question goes thus. If you are aiming to become a financial reporting and consolidated manager at the end, because that's a struggle you actually aim high, and currently work as a receivable and payable officer, you're current to report. What you actually aim, what you intend to go for, in fact, what you dream about is to become a group financial reporting manager at the end of. So I would like to ask that in that regards, what are those things can you advise currently, even though you are already in the track, like you are already enrolled in professional exams, and then you've enrolled for some courses and you've taken some. So what other advice can you, and how can you do payables to reporting?
Payable is part of reporting, so that's already related. Payable is part of reporting. Knowing payable well enough, if you are already on your way to reporting, you might just need to add other knowledge and all of those things. What's it called? You asked me, aside from the fact that you're already taking courses and all of those things, what else do you need? Talk about that once a lot. Talk about it. Tell people about it. Tell your manager about it. Tell HR about it. Any simple given opportunity to talk about what you want, talk about it. Let people be aware that you are interested in certain things so that when the opportunity arises, they can consider you for it. Imagine that a situation where imagine that I've heard of something where somebody is saying that they don't know that you are interested in salary increase. Like, what does that mean? So, like, they were expecting you to come and ask for salary increase because they don't know that you are interested in it. In today's Nigeria economy, who is not interested in salary increase, for crying out loud? I said you don't. It's so funny, So talk about it in a very subtle manner. Talk about it to people that they are always like in your close group. They like you, they like your work. Talk about it to them. Let them know that this is your trajectory, this is your track. Let people know what your trajectory, and be doing stuff that relates to it within the organization. Do stuff that relates to what you want within the organization. Volunteer. So you know that there is somebody that is already the reporting manager that you want to become or something. Relate with the person very well. Be very, very visible to the person to know you. Let the person be able to like know that you want to learn about this role. Then learn ahead. Learn ahead. Start learning everything that has to do with that job. Today, people see me as a CFO, like head of finance, and some people feel like you are too young. But guess since when I have started learning about CFO role, as far back as 2017, 2018, I have been reading about what the role of the CFO should look like and how the role of the CFO continues to change. In 2019, I took an assessment for a CFO role with CFO University. And as of 2019, I was already having like 60% readiness. You know, I was already like 60% readiness for a CFO role. This is 2023 for crying out loud. And some people just still feel like this guy is too young to be a CFO and to be whatever he has to be. But guess what? In my former company before now, I was senior finance manager, and it was my boss that recommended me that they promote me to the role of a VP, vice president of finance, when he was leaving, which is like CFO role, you know, and I did the job pretty well, and I got opportunity elsewhere. So talk about when my boss was recommending me, and I said I was going to leave. My boss literally told me that it was good for my career because of the kind of person I am. So let people know your career aspirations so that they can be able to help you easily. I hope that helps. Yeah, I hope that helps really. Idris Abubakar, please go ahead. Let's make it brief now, please, guys. Let's make it brief now.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Yolabi, for the insights so far. So my question is actually very brief. So in the world where we are in presently, you would agree with me that distraction is one of the major setbacks that we aspiring professionals have. So I would want you to quickly share insights as to how you're able to deal with distractions while you were growing, citing social media presence like TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, Facebook, and a host of them. So how were you able to manage your time and surpass all these distractions to become the professional that you are today?
Very, very, very brilliant question. It's brilliant and it's a tough one. How was I able to deal with distraction? Basically, I leverage it. It's funny. I leverage the distractions. LinkedIn is seen as a distraction. I leverage it. See, the way I operate growing up, I know the way I left home. Like, I couldn't afford to go to the to purchase different university forms in terms of post-UME. I couldn't afford it. So because of that, my career is always at the top, almost like covering all of this place. My career is like covering all this place. So everything that I do at most times is to benefit my career. So I give you an example. When I started using LinkedIn, I started using LinkedIn because I wanted to leverage it to improve my career. So if I'm on TikTok, for example, I don't even use TikTok because I don't know what's going on there. I don't use it because I don't know if it's going to up my career or not. I select my distractions. I select what I want to use to up my career. I joined Twitter I've been using Twitter for a while, but I became active of recent. Why? Because I want to leverage it to improve my career. I've gotten a relationship from Twitter that I found valuable, and I felt like I can get more relationships from there. So I contribute great insights and all of those things in those platforms. So when we talk about distraction, you need to select your distraction. Really. Select it. What are those distractions? And how are they? What are they first? Identify what are they. Can they contribute to your career or not? It's not as if some of us too don't get distracted. While at work, maybe my own distraction might be that while at work, sometimes you want to check your LinkedIn page and all of those things. But to be honest, there are a number of times where sometimes you even need those distractions to come in to be able to record a great number of productivity. Why? Because sometimes when you are working, most especially on repetitive tasks, it's become boring. But when you have some of the things that you can quickly do and then go back to your work and all of those things, fine, right? But for me, I've been able to deal with distraction by leveraging them, basically. So there is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a distraction to some people. Why? Because they feel like some people just go there, chat. I can spend 2 hours coming up with a LinkedIn post. Why? Because I know by the time I come up with that post, and people that matters see those posts, even though they don't know me, they see those posts and they feel like, oh no, this guy is communicating sense. From there, In fact, the person that recommended me for my current job, I met him through LinkedIn. And on this same LinkedIn, I've met great people. I've met great people and wonderful people. And this LinkedIn will still be considered as distraction by other people, right? So one thing you want to just prioritize is know your priorities. What are your priorities? Are this distraction really eating into your priorities? Or maybe you are obsessed with those distractions because you felt like they can help you to grow to your next level. Also, another way I deal with distraction sometimes is I walk into the night. Most especially, one thing I can consider distraction right now in my career is chatting with people. I don't know how to respond to chatting with people. I see it as a distraction. I don't know. Like, people just come to your DM, hello, good evening, how are you? You are distracting me, please. Right? So, when I noticed that, like tonight, right, I did not sleep overnight. Like, I didn't sleep, right? Why? Because I know that by the time I wanted to do the job I want to do, other people will be sleeping. So, those kind of things. Also, you can schedule your time for serious activities to the time where people are not going to be able to distract you. Evening time, late in the night. And then you have to identify those distractions. Are they the ones that can actually, you are just considering them distraction because people say they are distraction? Social media, for example. Some people are considering social media as distraction because people say they are distraction, of which some people are still making a great deal out of those social media. So you have to be very, very alert as to how you are leveraging these things. Like I said, my own distraction right now is somebody just chatting me, hello, hi, good morning, and you want us to start asking, how was your night? No, I don't have time for that. Right. So in those kind of cases, I probably just zoom off. Right. I just zoom off. So I hope I'm able to address it to a reasonable extent. But then also to keep far, far, far away from distraction, get yourself busy. Whenever I'm at work, at some point, I plug in my AirPod, listening to courses that I'm taking, free courses online, on leadership, all those courses that doesn't require me to be writing and penning things down. I listen to them. Like, get yourself busy. If you are busy, when you are busy and people know that you are busy, they don't come to distract you. I hope that helps. Yeah, let me take, I'm not sure we can take one, but Miracle, your hand has been up for a while. Then after Miracle, let's have Yusuf Mariam, then Popola, then Taiwo, like all this set of people. Let's just have us and close for today. Thank you. Miracle, you are up next.
Okay. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for these insights. Oh, my own question is very personal, and I really want a clarification. So, I say, okay, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah. Go ahead, please. Let's just make it.
Okay, yes, I will. I'll try as much as I can. So, as a young professional, probably after you qualified before you graduated, and maybe because of circumstances, you could not go for service. So you decided to fall back to all these startup audit firm where you were earning, let's say, 50,000. Then after which you were able to save up and you went in for NYSCS. Then after you were posted and you were looking for PPA where they posted you to, you were rejected. So you started searching for PPA and you were unable to find one. The ones you saw, you know that you will not be able to advance professionally. So you started applying for job and you went in for the interview and you passed the interview. They didn't know you were a copper. So when you were now asked to meet the chairman, they were now like, okay, when are you going to resume? You told them probably on Monday, and they were like, okay, where did you serve? You told them you're currently serving. So they said they're going to accept you as a copper. Then after your service, they will now review your salary. Because of your qualification, they said they are going to pay 70,000, while others were earning like 30,000. So after your service, during your service year, your line manager that did the same interview with you got employed the same time with you, but the reason why you were accepted as a copper and not a full staff is because you are still serving. So he was doing his master's and he left for like 2 weeks and you were given a task to do, which he was supposed to do. They gave him the task, but because of he was dodging it because the task is going to make him step on people's toe and cause harm to others. It was based on reconciliation where fraud will be discovered and all of that.
Yeah.
So okay. So you were given that tax and you took it upon yourself. The tax was given to you by the owner of the company. You took it upon yourself. You did the tax. You discovered the fraud and then so many things, and they were up and down in the company and all of that. So when your boss now came back, you were so angry. Instead of appreciating the fact that you were able to do those tasks, because the tax was done based on the information you got, they were hiding it. Can you hear me? Okay, yes, I will. So let me know the long story cut short. Because of that, you were now like, your boss will not see you as someone that is more relevant in the company more than him. So there is nothing you will do that is going to accept and all of that. It was affecting you, like doing things that will affect you emotionally, saying things that will make you like depressed and all of that. So after your service year, you guys bargained 150,000 for a start, but because your boss was not earning up to 200,000, just 170,000, they were now saying they will pay you 100,000, which you refused. Okay, because you're refusing the offer that they will review it, but you are here to now like thinking should you accept or not.
Okay.
But
I think
you got or not. Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me? So I want to summarize now. Before that time, you got another job and they are saying they are going to pay you 180 gross. So what do? The MD of the company, you don't have an issue with him. The man is saying you are not supposed to go. We need you in this company and other stuff. But your line manager don't like you. Like, in fact, there are things he will not even want to show you, but he's more experienced than you. So what do you do at that point? Sorry, what do you do at that point? Sorry.
The answer is simple.
Okay.
If your line manager doesn't like you, it's time to leave before you start misbehaving. I've left a job when they brought in someone who was supposed to be my line manager, and the person felt threatening about me or stuff like that. I started trying to make life difficult for me. I resigned. No time. If you have other opportunities, there are a lot of opportunities out there. Nigeria already has a lot of troubles posting everybody around exchange rate, fuel scarcity, and all of those things. Your workplace should be the last place you should be having troubles. Like, it should be the last place you should be having troubles, and not technical troubles, not personal troubles. Your workplace should be the last place you should be having troubles. So that's the problem. If your line manager is like that, maybe it's time for you to consider leaving, because your line manager is like the number one person that will appraise you. And if he's hell bent on appraising you bad and nobody's cautioning him or her, then there is no point. Except you have a very good HR system. Report to HR, let HR know about all of these things, then you can stay. Otherwise, it is time to move on. Continue on this personally right now, because you can connect with me on LinkedIn. We can take it. There. We have other people that we probably need to attend to briefly, and then we call it a day here, please. Thank you very much, Miracle, for your question. Benga Popola, please quickly let's make it brief, please, guys. Let's make it brief. Benga.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thanks for the section. So my question is this, sir. As a young professional accountant that is upcoming with little experience, so my question is, I want to ask, so how can we make it to the point of we being employable by a particular company? What I'm saying is this, like, so many companies, because of little experience, they might want to say that they don't want to accept you, even though to the fact that you have started your professional exam, you have gotten to the skills level. So how can we take our career to the next level at least and get to that place of which we are looking up to as a professional accountant?
It's quite direct, right? Maybe you might need to accept some certain things that you have to start from where you are. So if you see a little opportunity to support some people, maybe a small size audit firm, you have to start somewhere, basically. You can't wait until you see that big opportunity. Today, I personally, I've not gotten to the peak of my career. I've not become the CFO of the likes of Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and stuff. So I've not gotten to the peak of my career. But I'm doing all I can, right? Right now, I'm doing all I can to win the local territory and then be able to go global, right? So if it means that you have to win the local territories, You just have to win them, right? You just have to win them. So you see that opportunities to go global or to go interstate or across the countries and all of those things. So what do I mean? If you see an opportunity that is for entry level, apply, get in. Consider the likes of the big four. Entry level are quite kind of everybody come. When you are qualified, when you pass the test and all of those things, you get in. But when you want to ask yourself, when you want to be honest with yourself with the kind of companies that you are aspiring to enter, just go and pick one of their job descriptions for a role that they advertise that you have interest in. Ask yourself, do you tick up to 80% of the job description? If no, then you have to start working around it. So to work around it, if it means that you have to first accept a small job, then accept it. Then some of the things that is in the JD, be able to implement them on that small role that you are, so that you can be able to put them on your CV that you have done those things, and then you can be able to apply for the job that you actually desire. I hope that answers it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Mariam Yusuf, are you still here? You're muted. Can you hear me? You are muted. If Mariam Yusuf is still here, you are muted. But while we wait for Jalil, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Please go ahead with your question briefly.
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to ask this simple question. Please, how do you handle forgetfulness? Like when you study something or you read something and after a while you get out of your head somehow.
So this is it.
You make it.
In the first place, how do you handle your reading? That's the number one thing. How do you handle your reading? Some of us, we spend time reading something because we always try to first internalize it, create scenarios around it so that we can be able to relate with it at any point in time, right? So if it means that if reading means understanding, then first always strive to understand what you are reading. Be able to relate to your environment. So that when you're able to relate it, it is hard to forget because you're able to build scenarios around your understanding of the subject matter. Also, teach someone else. Teach people. If you read something, find friends that you can easily teach or post it on your WhatsApp status. Like, these are resources. These are platforms that are free that you can always leverage. Post it on your LinkedIn. Talk about it. So anytime, any day that you want to talk about it again and you forget something, you can easily just go back to your LinkedIn profile and then you can see it there, you know, because at least you will not forget that you have posted it before or you have come across it before. So you can easily go there and then you can see it there. And then you can use your WhatsApp stories. Use your WhatsApp stories to educate people. Things that you educate people about, you don't easily forget. You easily remember them instead, you know. So talk about it, educate people about it, ensure you get proper understanding first before you even conclude that you have read it. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Go ahead now.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Mariam Yusuf. And my question is, before my question, I think I've been listening to you for some time now, and all you've been saying is circling around work and all of that. It seems you do a lot of work. So I want to ask, how do you enjoy, how do you rest, or do you just do work, and no play?
Do I just do work? Well, I think the simple answer to that is I kind of have my way of enjoying my life, and then one of them is what I'm currently doing now. Like, I enjoy impacting. Maybe it might also be considered as work related or stuff like that. I would say once in a while, probably I see some movies, and then I would say once in a while I chat with friends that makes me happy, like I talk to friends and all of those things. But one thing for sure is that major part of my lifestyle evolves around work, right? That's the truth. But when it comes to playing and all of those things, when I see time to play, I go ahead and play. But playing now are subject to different things. Like playing in my own definition should be something that you enjoy doing, right? So maybe when I'm working as well, maybe I'm playing at the same time because I enjoy working, I enjoy teaching, I enjoy impacting. But when it comes to playing around, relaxing, I also try to catch up with those things as well, basically. Right. Thank you very much for that question. Chioma first, then Taiwo, then Rilwan, please. That's it for today. Chioma, please go ahead. Chioma, are you there? Okay, if Chioma is not there, Taiwo, Mercy.
Okay. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Okay. Actually, I have a question concerning job hunting. Actually, I got qualified last year and I've been applying for a job. Although I'm still an undergraduate, but I'll be graduating this year. So I've started applying for jobs against next year, but I've not seen any feedback from those companies. So I don't know if there's anything I'm getting wrong, if it's the CV, if it's the, I don't just know. So I just want to ask for advice, and if there's anything I'm getting wrong, you can just shed more light.
I love the way you have approached it. You said you don't know if it's the CV and stuff like that. First start by getting assurance that nothing is wrong with your CV. Share your CV with people who are already in the system. Let them take a look. Is it nice? Is it okay? Is there a need for adjustment? That's one. Also, how are you searching? That's another thing. There are some, are you searching for the right opportunities? Are you applying to the right opportunities? What do I mean? There are some opportunities that you are not qualified for and you are applying for it. You probably might not get called. But if you're applying for the ones that you are qualified for, how do I mean? Maybe a junior accountant, financial entry-level accountant role, or you're applying to the Big Four, or you're applying for internship, right? If you said that you are not yet done with school, you are just almost done, you should know that getting a full-time role might be quite difficult. But if you first start by applying for internship, from there, you can leverage that to unlock more opportunities, right? If your CV is good, fine, that's already out of the way. Then you need to ask yourself, how good are you with your storytelling? On my CV, for example, where you will find my education in terms of my ND is down in my CV, because I want people to see my experience first before they see my education. So by the time you are done seeing my experience and you are impressed, you probably just ignore my education. How is your CV arranged according to you telling your story as well? You need to also look at that. And then have you told your friends that you are job hunting? Are your friends aware? Let your friends be aware. But overall, job hunting is not an easy task. Trust me. You can apply 3 months, no results. But trust me, you only need 1 year to cover up for all the thousands of no's you have gotten. And that's job hunting for you. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Real one.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Good evening, everyone. I think the question I wanted to ask is just a clarification with the scenario I'm facing with my boss presently. So I actually resume in a new place.
Mm-hmm.
So before I resume there, I make a research. I noticed that most of the consulting firm, likes of Big Four, as a kind of some kind of middle-sized consulting firm, it was these ladies that actually dominates their staff. Like almost the ratio is around maybe 60-40 or 70-30. So I found myself around the ladies, like in the sense that the department comprises all the persons that are there are ladies. So when I came, the boss called me aside and he told me that, well, he wants me to like find a way to handle all these ladies, in the sense that I will be leading them. He knows that they don't usually dedicate their time. They are ladies that like flexing, like enjoying themselves. They don't take work serious. But me as a guy, I should know that I'm always a guy. I should always try to be up in my game. I said, okay, no problem, sir. So at the end of the day now, this is something that he don't used to discuss with them. But when it comes to work, maybe when we are supposed to be working, when we are supposed to be more productive, the boss, if this same boss will be the same person that will be gisting with these ladies. But to me, I will say, this man, allow these people to work now, and they will not be enjoying the gist. So at the end of the day, you will still come and be the one to complain that you guys should give me my work now. Since I gave you work, you have not responded. So in this kind of instances now, and he has not expressly or as in said it out to them that this guy will be what leading you guys, or will be the one to be, you guys will be reporting to this guy directly. So in this kind of situation now, I'm new to the place, and those ladies will feel that they already have authority there. So how do I handle this kind of scenario so that at the end of the day I will not have issue with both the ladies as well as the boss? Because I know dealing with ladies is something that someone will have to be extremely careful with.
Well, very good observation. You have already answered your question.
Yeah.
What you know about dealing with ladies is also the way you are going to deal with it, which is you have to be very patient because you are new. When we are new to organizations, sometimes bosses wants to push us to be the bad cop. You know the bad cop and good cop game that they used to play, where they say you go and harass the person. Me, I will now come and say you two, the way you are doing it is not that nice. Take it easy on them. You know. So, and of which the person that is the good cop also knows that what they are doing is not right, but doesn't want to act as if what they are doing is not right, so that it can be like the person is pleasing them, and then you are the one that is like the bad, you are the strong person to tell them to stop and hammer on them. You have to be very careful. In the back, when you are new to a new organization, as you are observing, try to make friends, make allies with the ladies. Try to understand how they enjoy doing their work and when they enjoy doing their work. And those are some of the moments you need to leverage for them to get the work done. Try to get what their interests are. It might not be you asking them outrightly what are your interests and stuff like that, but you trying to get close to them. They are your colleagues after all, so you have to find a way to get close to them, know how they get their work done. Because the truth of the matter is, regardless of how chitty-chatting and all of those things they do, they still get some bit of the works done, regardless. So how do they get it done? When do they get it done? What interests them to get it done, and all of those things? You might want to kind of investigate and be patient to see through those things, right? And then your boss, you also want to be diplomatic with your boss, right?
Yeah.
You like want to strike a balance between appearing, doing your boss work to say, guys, you guys have not done this thing is wrong. No, guys, can we just look at these things together now? Guys, can we? So using we also up, right? Using we also up. You said your boss usually chit chat with these people. If your boss is somebody you can always talk to, maybe you used to have one-on-one session, you probably want to bring it up in the one-on-one session, subtly telling your boss to like try to refrain those ladies, and then have those ladies to like be able to work subtly, like let her know that she's also cheating. Not in any way be seeing yourself as their boss, that you will now start reacting based on whatever they do or whatever the organ says. No, it doesn't work that way. When you see them as colleagues, when they see you as colleagues, they tend to respect, they tend to listen more than when they see you as a boss that's probably bossing them around. And you know, ladies, sometimes when they think that you are bossing them around, they are not interested. They get disinterested in even the engagement. So yeah, you just have to be diplomatic, and then you have to strike a balance between how you address them in terms of let's get this done, can we look at this, can we could you please just be very, very patient with them. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Final question, Chioma. If you have your question, fine. If not, finance business partner, thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so thanks so much, Kudus. So with no question, like we really want to thank you for taking our time to speak to us, and also want to thank everyone for staying to the very end of this session. It was actually an insightful session for me personally, and I believe the same thing for every other professionals that was on the call today. So thank you so much, Kudus, and thank you to everyone that was on this call to the very end. So we'll be meeting again next month for the meet and chat with the professionals from the tables of the finance business partner. So just keep up to date while we follow our social media platforms for more information and with respect to the upcoming meet and chat with the professionals. So if we're not too busy, we can unmute our mic and thank Kudus or use our virtual emojis to thank Kudus for this session. Really thank you for your time so much, Mr. Kudus.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
very
sir.
much. You really are blessed.